says the DOGE subpoenas are a political thing. What's your message in terms of...
It's not political at all. I mean, the reality is, we were here with Blaise Ngolia, the chief financial officer, who's doing a fantastic job. I mean, he is a bulldog when it comes to standing up for taxpayers. And isn't that what you want in a chief financial officer? We want to highlight the growth of these local government budgets. We have people that will come to us and say they're getting pinched by property taxes because their homes are being valued for more than what it was. And by the way, what goes up goes down. I mean, what was your home valued at in 2006 compared to 2010? You remember that period? Probably worth more in 2006 than it was in 2010 in almost every instance, I would imagine, given what happened with the market. So these things go up and down. So folks come, and then I have to usually remind folks, your property taxes are local. They're under Florida's Constitution. The millage, all that is set by these local taxing authorities. The money goes to them, and then they use it. We don't rely on property tax revenue at the state level. We have a sales tax, we have some other things. We just got rid of the business rent tax, eliminated that tax, and we've eliminated other taxes. And we're happy to do it. And we're one of the lowest taxes state in the country. Certainly on a per capita basis, we're probably the lowest. So you have that. So we are at a position where we want to be able to help with property tax. But it's not something I can just ask the legislature, hey, cut the millage, do this, do that, because they don't have constitutional authority to do the local taxes. That is your counties and your cities. So what we're going to do is we're going to place a question on the ballot that is going to allow Floridians to be able to vote themselves relief from property tax. And as I said, my vision is, if you own your home, to truly own it, you have to own it free and clear of the government. You shouldn't have to pay rent to the government. And, there'll be people that are, buying investment properties, fine, that's different. There's differences, but your personal home, we really believe should not be subject to tax. It's an unrealized gain. And I'm just one that's if you tax me at point of sale, I buy a car and I pay a sales tax on it. But for me to then just, pay a tax on the value every now, cars usually when you drive them off the lot go down. Now during COVID, the cars actually went up in value. You'd buy a car, there was such a shortage that you could drive it off the lot and then you could even flip it for $5,000, $10,000 profit because there was such a rush to buy vehicles. But that's our vision. So. And of course, so what do people say? Oh, that can't be done. You can't do that. And my question is why can't it be done? Look, the first place we went to with these audits was Broward County, Florida. They got 1.9 million people. They've had no net population growth over the last 5 years. Their budget's increased 60%. So the question is okay, why is it increased 60%? That's the whole reason that we're doing the DOGE, and we're also doing it on state agencies and our state universities. And we're looking at a whole host of things, not just spending. We're also looking at some policies of universities, and we're looking at how certain things are done in practice. Because, you have the law on the books, which in Florida, we were the first state to eliminate DEI from our public universities, and we did that years ago. But are you repackaging that under another name? Is that being smuggled into lower levels of university? So we're looking at all that stuff, and we're looking at ways state agencies can do better. Although I do point out, if you look, the budget that we're under right now in Florida is spending less than last year's budget, and last year's budget spent less than the year before. I don't think there's many places that are actually reducing spending while still doing major things like teacher salary increases, moving Florida forward. I mean, our I-4 stuff we're doing has already made a big impact. We're going to do a lot more there, billions, and we're proud of doing that. But we're doing it on a budget. But yet so I could say, since I've been governor, we've retired almost half of the state's taxpayer-supported debt for all its history. We're the second lowest per capita spending in the country. New York has 3 million, 4 million fewer residents. Their budget's twice as much as ours. We don't need to be. No, you can always do better. So that's our view on that. But on the local governments, people are getting pinched by property taxes, and you're getting pinched to fund budgets that have greatly expanded. So the question is there room to be able to give you the property tax relief you want while pulling back some of the bloat that's happened over these last 4 or 5 years? And so the DOGE efforts are really, one, standing up for taxpayers, but two, letting people have the information about where their money's going when they're having to pay property tax every year. What is that going towards? And do you want to change that relationship you have with these local governments so that they can't keep picking your pocket, just for living in your own home? So that's what's good. That's it's not political or partisan. It's something that I think has a lot of interest across party lines, because it isn't like if you're one party or the other that you're happy that your property taxes have gone up. I don't think anybody's happy with that, especially when they haven't realized the gain. Like, it's one thing if you sell your house, you get a new one, and you have a different tax basis, maybe it's taxed more. People are just living in their home, and they're having to pay more taxes even when the millage rate isn't increased because the assessments, oh, your property is worth $200,000, $300,000 more, $400,000 more. And it's like, man, and here's the thing, you will get assessed higher. I don't know how aggressive they are at assessing you lower when the market goes down. That's, I don't know. Like, maybe some do. I know we've got some property appraisers who are probably pretty stand up around the state, but the reality is it's usually a one-way ratchet. So that's what that's what we're moving towards. Blaze is really doing a great job. And the fact of the matter is Orange County was not cooperative. He has the authority, and then the state also has additional authority with the most recent budget. So when you have people reading off a prepared script and not willing to answer questions, as a taxpayer, is that acceptable to you? No, of course not. So this is something that I think is important. I think compliance is obviously required under the law, and I expect to see that. But I think Blaze has been good. He's been very hard on Manatee County, which is a very red county. I mean, I'd have to look at the election results. I mean, when I was running, I think we won it by like 30 points. It is not a liberal county by any stretch. He's also looked at like places in the Panhandle and elsewhere. So it isn't just the blue dots like Orlando and Orange County and Broward. Those are included. Gainesville's included too. I mean, they've got a lot of issues. But it really is across the board for all taxpayers. So I'm proud of what Blaze Ingoli is doing. I think we need somebody in that position that's going to be very aggressive at being an advocate for the taxpayers. And I think you're going to see that there's a lot of this, because you think about it, if you're elected to one of these boards, commissioners, you're there, and then especially during COVID, it's like, okay, the whole world comes to Florida, right? People moved to Florida. Some people just vacationed in Florida. Some people just wanted to get away from the insanity elsewhere. So what happens is your coffers swell. So they're getting, property values are going up. People are buying homes, a lot of times sight unseen. You go back to like 2021, 22, people were buying homes without even seeing them. They'd be on the market, and like an hour later, it'd be sold. That was happening frequently in Florida. And so you had this rush, and then they're buying homes, and the values are going up, and the prices are going up, and that means more money is flowing into these coffers. And so how many of the local governments responded by doing really significant property tax reductions? Not very many did that. They basically spent the money. And there's also other things about, do they put money away? What do they have here? All this other stuff. So people deserve the truth on this, and I think that the audits that Blaze are leading, we've called it the Florida Agency for Fiscal Oversight, our FAFO audits, and I think it's something that's really, really good for the people of the state of Florida. But you got to stand with taxpayers. I mean, we're the free state of Florida because we respect taxpayers. We do that at the state level more than anywhere, but we need to do it at the local level as well. All right, thanks everybody.